mean, I know you're also a little bit of adventurer, aren't you? Because like I've got this photograph of you somewhere in a hat looking like, I don't know, something a little bit like Crocodile Dundee, but a little bit more kind of tasteful than that. And it's like you take the kids off, don't you, to some pretty wild places for holidays. It's like raining in Patagonia. I mean, is this like a thing you do, like action man? You like a bit of adventure in your holidays?
Adventure. We like to get out there. Yeah, sunny Spain isn't really our thing. We do go to Spain. But
right.
Sitting on the beach doesn't really cut it for any of
No,
us.
you get a bit bored.
Yeah. So
you need to rest alligators and that, do you? Like forage for your own dinner in like the undergrowth and that, eat a few nettles and whatnot.
We have done a bit of foraging actually at times, or berry and things like that, and then eating ants in Australia. Have you ever had ants? They would like pick the ants up. Very tasty.
No, man, I don't see that.
No. So and so we head down to southern Argentina, Patagonia. Every couple of years or so. One day we'll retire there too. So.
You will you?
Yeah.
What have you got? Like a little shack or something? You're gonna like.
I haven't even got that at the moment. We've got a little plot of land. We've got about an acre down there, and that'll be the. Hopefully, this is still the dream, but hopefully that'll be the European winter retirement.
And how far is it to like the nearest Tesco's then from your retirement plot? Is it like, I mean, can you get to like a supermarket, and can you get to like the cinema and that?
No.
You can't.
It's about 2.5 hours drive, I guess, to the supermarket.
Market.
Well, no, there's a little town about 17 kilometres away. It's got a butcher.
Yes, because I'm getting a little bit worried now, Richard. You seem a little bit crazy to me. I think you might be crackers.
No,
what are you going to do? Catch your own fish out the river, and roast it on a stick?
Well, maybe. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, we'll manage. We'll go. Yeah. We'll get by. You can get. All you need in Argentina is beef and a bit of lamb, and then that's okay. It's up the road. It's in there, so no problem.
I mean, do they have like internet so you can get like Netflix and that? Because I don't know what you're going to do all day. You'll be like get bored.
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's all right, Richard, if it's your sort of thing, but it sounds pretty boring to me. It sounds like a very lovely romantic dream if you like being cold, wet, miserable and bored. So, I hope you're very happy, whatever you do.
I'm sure we will be.
I mean, you are a little bit nutty, aren't you, Richard, to be honest, because you're into this, like, weird swimming thing, aren't you? Like, where you swim outdoors, like, in the cold without a wetsuit and all?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking like California, are we? We're talking
no,
and you're just like getting in your Speedos.
Well, winter's just ice dipping, but there wasn't any ice this year, unfortunately. But winter's just getting in for a few minutes.
Right.
Skinny dipping. You don't wear anything. You just jump in the lake. And then you have to remember this is
I've done that a few times, like of a night when I've like got really, really drunk, and it's like suddenly very funny to like strip off and jump in the river or in my mate's pond. But I've never done it when I've been sober. I mean, you just do this for a laugh, do you? Like.
Well, yeah. Then you do ice dipping, but then the lake swimming, that's a bit different. That's proper training and racing. Not much of it happening this summer, unfortunately. But so I've done a bit of that.
Well, no, we've got a few photographs of you actually, like at the World Championships of the outdoor swimming, and it seems like there's this weird thing they do where they like mark on your back with biro and that.
Oh yeah, you have to, so they can see who you are when you're swimming, because they can only see your back, so you have to get your big.
Right. I was thinking it was maybe so they knew who to pull out if you died on the way.
That's another reason.
And does anyone ever get ill and have to be whipped out quick, like to hospital and that?
Yeah. But they do in other sports as well. It's not a problem. It doesn't happen very often. Don't worry.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why you don't just like stay home and watch a few good movies. I don't really get it, like, but obviously it's your kind of thing. That's absolutely great if it's what you like. So we've got a bit of an Action Man song coming up next, haven't we? Your next song is about action, really. It's the theme tune from the Olympics, isn't it?
Well, just London 2012, I thought was just such an amazing time. It was a big year in the UK anyway, 2012, for lots of reasons. But the Olympics, they pulled it off. It was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. And as a family, we had a a great time. So it's always very, very fond, exciting memories. The kids were really old enough to appreciate it, but the whole of London just took off. The whole of the country just took off, and that was it. It's been a bit downhill since then, hasn't it? So
race, life's a race, and I'm gonna win. Yes, I'm gonna win, and I'll light the fuse, and I'll never lose, and I choose to survive, whatever it takes. You won't pull ahead, I'll keep up the pace, and I'll reveal my strength to the whole human race. Yes, I am prepared to stay alive, and I won't forgive. Vengeance is mine, and I won't give in, because I choose to thrive.
Yeah, it's quite hardcore. It's that kind of macho thing, isn't it?
something like that, yeah.
Aye. Obviously, we get that up north because it's like Newcastle. It's where the men are men and so are the women. We're like dead hard up here. Well, we're nearly there, aren't we? We're nearly like moving through. I'm just thinking, I think it's quite important to say at the end before your last song that it's not like you've stayed static, is it? I think that's the thing about you, Richard. What I'm picking up is I think the reason why you are a celebrity is because you're constantly doing new stuff and embracing new things. And even though some of them are really a little bit mad and a bit weird, like wanting to live in Patagonia or whatever it's called, that place down in America, I just think, you know, it's good that you have your dreams and you're like moving on. And I know that one of the things that you're really into is like modern art. I know that Jonathan was like, some of his art's frankly a bit weird, because Jonathan's like a little bit traditional, isn't he? He's like the sort of man who would like I've got this lovely Turner painting of like a beautiful English landscape. There you are. That's like proper art, isn't it? Whereas I think you were a little bit more modern in your tastes, aren't you? And you like things that are a little bit more unusual and a little bit more off the wall. But you've got a few pieces that are like, there's this one that, you know, you'll know the one that I mean, like the cat with its babies. Like, is that somebody famous that's painted that? Is that a very?
It's actually he's fairly famous in Cuba. Yeah, and primitive art it's called.
Aye, well, it is quite primitive because I was thinking, you know, I think my lass could have done that when she was about 6. So, and also I've noticed you like your nudes, don't you? You've got that lovely one of the nude. I quite like her, actually. She's quite...
very nice eyes, hasn't she? Very nice eyes.
Quite busty, quite well proportioned. And she looks... What I like about her is she's not being frightened, as she sees. She's had a few pies. She's not like one of them stick-thing supermodels, is she? She likes her chips and her pies, I would say.
She's Russian. Yeah, she's Russian.
Ah, well, yeah. She's like a healthy way. I thought what we might do is I'd put some of your art up, because I know you've sent me a load of your pictures, and we put them up for people to appreciate. But what I was also thinking, Richard, is while you're on, because you were showing me your art, and I was like quite inspired, and I've done a little bit of my own based on like some of your ideas, and I was thinking you might like to buy some of my art because I am an up-and-coming artist. So I've got a few inspired by yours, so I'll hold them up and you can just like tell us what you think. I'll give you a little commentary. So I've done this one, Richard. This is like based on that red one, you know, the red one. So this, I was like, right, I'm going to just get inspired for a minute about art. This is like green, but it's like green with blue and green with brown. All right, so it's like very green theme. So there's that one, and I was thinking, you know, maybe just like £2.50 or something like that would be a good price for that. Okay.
£2.50.
No, 250,000.
Oh.
Come on, you know about art, Richard. Don't like belittle the art of the talented and upcoming. I mean, this will be like the next Tracy Emin. This is your chance to invest. Anyway, you can have a think about that one. This is me other one that I did. I did this one this morning before I got dressed. This is like
Is that a self-portrait?
It's a self-portrait. Are you nude?
Oh, I could tell that straight away.
Yeah. So that's like, you know, an impressionistic version of us in the nude. I've done that one, and I thought, I was inspired by your Russian lady that has the pies, and I thought we could just like talk about prices on that, because I think that's pretty priceless. So if you don't snap that up, I reckon that's going pretty quick. Okay. Oh, and then there's that one.
Whatever happens, something has to be pleasant to look at. That, I'm afraid, I'm being candid, being honest. I know you Northerners, you like people to be direct.
You don't like that.
That is not pleasant to look at.
Oh, hang on a minute. What happened here was this. I spilt my water pot, and then I thought, I've got a bit confused. I thought that was a piece of art.
I think also it's upside down, isn't it?
Oh, well, I don't know, because like I just spilt it, and it was like.
No, I can tell it was upside down. So.
No, I spilt my water pot. Sorry. So like it's just the nude and the green one. But if you want to come back to us later with a price, maybe we could like do like a bit of a deal for both of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll put you in touch with my dealer and see what he says.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll let you do that and get back to us with a good price. So we'll play your last song. And what's interesting about your last song is it's like quite modern, isn't it?
My problem is I can never remember his surname. And my kids always laugh because I can hear the start of the song and I say, oh, this is Michael, what's his name, isn't it? As I get older, I still listen to some modern music, but I can't remember the name. It's the circle of life. You still try and listen to the music, but you can't remember anymore.
I know. Well, I think his name is Michael Kiwanuka. Kiwanuka.
I've been practicing.
Kiwanuka, that's right. And it's called Cold Heart. Is that right?
Yeah.
It takes an awful long time to get going. We'll have to like speed through a bit. I know what you said, like it'll take a bit of time to warm up. I don't know if there's like a message in there about you or something, but it's a bit slow to get going, and then when it warms up, it's quite happening. So.
Want it? Did you want it back? Oh my, it tears me apart.
Well, I've got to say, Richard, it's been a very, very interesting afternoon talking to you, and you've got lots of interesting things about you, so it's been very, very educational. Thank you very much. I feel like I've learned a thing or two.
Well, thank you very much. I very much enjoyed our chat this afternoon.
Good. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. And it's been really good hearing your music and all that. And also realising that you're not a complete fuddy-duddy who is completely out of date. Although I think you might need to go up and like brush up on your knowledge of art a bit. I think you're maybe not that hot on that. You might need to do a little bit of work on that.